Mayor Daley named our guest today the Executive Director of the O'Hare Modernization Program. Our guest today joined city government in 1990, working in various positions for the City Council's Committee on Transportation and the Public Way, the Mayor's Correspondence Unit, and the Department of Consumer Services. From 1995 to 1999, our guest today was an assistant to the director in the Mayor's Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. Before heading up the O'Hare Modernization Program, our guest today served as First Deputy Commissioner in the Department of Planning and Development. Our guest today is a native Chicagoan and a graduate of DePaul University. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce, welcome back to the City Club of Chicago, Rosie Andolino. Rosie?
Good afternoon. I want to thank Jay Doherty, Mr. Roser, of course Dr. Green, and the entire City Club for inviting me back here today to update you on the O'Hare Modernization Program. I'm thrilled to report today that the City of Chicago has finally broken ground on the most anticipated airport development project in the country, the O'Hare Modernization Program. Thank you. But before I talk about our current status, I'd like to step back for a moment and remind you of what we've accomplished over the last few years. And as you know, the O'Hare Modernization Program is critical to our national aviation system, but also to our region's economy. Now, the concept of modernizing O'Hare has been discussed for more than 3 decades. O'Hare's importance to the national aviation system is unquestioned. O'Hare is the world's busiest airport in terms of operations. And in fact, last year, we had 992,000 operations at O'Hare. Passenger enplanements at O'Hare rose by nearly 10% in 2004 to more than 37 million passengers, which shows that demand for service at O'Hare is stronger than ever. The Chicago area is the nation's 3rd most populated and wealthiest, and features a vibrant and growing economy. In fact, O'Hare features the nation's 3rd largest origination and destination market for air travelers, with nearly 60% of O'Hare customers connecting to other flights. However, O'Hare International Airport, the world's busiest airport, is also the nation's most delayed airport. Back in 2001, Congress held hearings mandating that our local leaders come up with a solution to the delay and congestion problem we were experienced. And they did. That solution is the O'Hare Modernization Program. What's important to understand is that since Mayor Daley introduced the program in 2001, the FAA has conducted an extensive review process, beginning by contemplating nearly 20 alternatives, including doing nothing, the use of other airports, and technological advances that could be implemented in place of construction. The process also included coordination with 16 separate state and federal and local regulatory agencies, and yielded more than 9 million pages of work. While the review process moved forward, chronic delays once again highlighted the inefficiencies of our airfield. In 2004, United States Department of Transportation Secretary Norm Mineta and FAA Administrator Marion Blakey orchestrated 3 rounds of flight reductions that reduced flights during peak travel times through fall of 2005. We have since learned that these voluntary flight caps will remain in place through at least spring of 2006. Now, you know as well as I do that this is anti-competitive and anti-consumer. However, something needed to be done in the interim. And in July of 2005, the FAA recommended the O'Hare Modernization Program as their preferred alternative for reducing delays and increasing capacity at O'Hare. Now, this is essentially the same plan that Mayor Daley introduced back in 2001. I had the privilege of being with Mayor Daley on September 30th when he received the historic phone call regarding the approval of the O'Hare Modernization Program from United States Department of Transportation Secretary Norman Mineta. According to Secretary Mineta, expanding capacity at Chicago's O'Hare Airport will save travelers time, make our skies safer, and reduce delays across the entire aviation network. We have taken a close look at every possible option and settled on the one that provides the best results for air travelers nationwide. As you can see, O'Hare currently features an outdated intersecting runway configuration. While it operates fairly smoothly during certain weather conditions, during poor weather conditions, air traffic controllers are forced to remove an arrival runway, reducing O'Hare's capacity by 1/3. And this is when the delays set in. Many of you, I'm sure, have experienced sitting on the runway because of the delay and congestion we experienced at O'Hare. Now, our new airfield will be a parallel configuration. Now, the O'Hare Modernization Program, as you see here, is a $6.6 billion program in 2001 dollars. Neither the cost nor the scope of this program has changed since Mayor Daley introduced it in 2001. It consists of one new runway, 9 left, 27 right, the relocation of 3 existing runways, and the extension of 2 existing runways. For the first time in O'Hare's history, we will have a western entrance to O'Hare Airport, allowing for access from the west. This western entrance will accommodate up to 60 gates, and will have a secured people mover system that will move passengers from the western terminal to the eastern terminal and from the east to the west. Now, the $6.6 billion program also includes land acquisition, wetland mitigation, on-airport access roads, and other enabling projects. Modernizing the airfield into a parallel runway configuration will allow the airport to operate much more efficiently. I'm not sure if you're aware, but planes land and take off into the wind. And the prominent wind direction in our region is east-west. And that's why you see the parallel configuration with the orientation of the runways in an east-west configuration. However, we still maintain our crosswind capabilities. In fact, according to FAA Administrator, a modernized O'Hare means more flights and better on-time performance for air travelers through this critical hub. The benefits of the OMP, well, they can be summed up in 3 key phrases: significant reduction in delays and an increase in capacity, substantial economic growth for our region's economy, and huge annual savings for our airlines and their passengers alike. The OMP will create up to 195,000 new jobs for our region. Now, that's on top of the 450,000 jobs O'Hare generates today. It will add an additional $18 billion. That's $18 billion to our region's economy annually. And that's on top of the $38 billion O'Hare generates today. The OMP will save air passengers and the airlines a combined $750 million a year in reduced delay savings. Add these savings up, and they total almost $8 billion over a 10-year period. Reason enough to move this project forward. A modernized O'Hare will also attract national and international companies to our region because of its ability to rapidly move people and goods throughout the country in a single flight. Most importantly, the OMP will ensure that O'Hare remains the most important economic generator for our region and our state. Now, a common question we receive is, how will we pay for this program? Well, the O'Hare Modernization Program, or like I said, the OMP, will be constructed and financed in phases and paid for by revenues generated at the airport. The most important thing for you to understand today is that there are no state or local taxpayer dollars that will be used to fund any portion of this program. Now, let me repeat that. There will be no state or local taxpayer dollars to fund any portion of the O'Hare Modernization Program. Back in July of 2003, Mayor Daley and our airline partners announced an unprecedented, historic $2.9 billion agreement to fund the first phase of the O'Hare Modernization Program. Under this agreement, 65% or $1.9 billion will come from general airport revenue bonds. These are backed by revenues generated at the airport, including terminal rents, landing fees, parking revenues, and concession revenues. 23%, or $657 million, will come from passenger facility charges. Now that's that $4.50 fee that's assessed on your ticket from O'Hare. And 12%, or $362 million, will come from federal airport improvement program discretionary and entitlement dollars. Once again, no state or local taxpayer dollars will be used to fund any portion of this program. It's important to point out that these are all traditional funding sources for airport improvement projects. Now let me detail the status of the various funding sources for Phase 1. In June of 2005, the Chicago City Council authorized the OMP and the Department of Aviation to issue $1.5 billion in bonds. Now, $400 million will be used for existing debt refinancing at O'Hare by the Department of Aviation, and $1.1 billion will be used to fund construction projects for the OMP. Now, we will also have the ability to come back and issue the remaining $524 million to fund Phase 1 costs. In October, the FAA announced its intention to provide the full $300 million in federal AIP discretionary funds, which we requested for Phase 1, as well as allow the OMP to use an additional $62.9 million in entitlement dollars specifically for this program. In fact, we expect to receive word soon, maybe even today, from the FAA that the $300 million request has been approved. These actions clearly show the FAA's commitment to the success of the O'Hare Modernization Program and highlights the importance of an efficient O'Hare to the national aviation system. Now, we're confident in the strength of our airport and the outlook for future growth and demand for service at O'Hare. In a recent review of O'Hare, Moody's Investor Services stated that the program was important not only to the Chicago market, but for the national air transportation system, since O'Hare is a connecting hub for the two largest airlines in the world, American and United. Now, we just spoke about the financing, or the $2.9 billion, for OMP Phase 1. Now, let me highlight what that will detail on the construction side. OMP Phase 1 includes the preliminary engineering, design, and for the entire program, the planning for the entire program. It also includes the construction of our first new runway, 9 left, 27 right, which is currently under construction. The extension of runway 10 left, the relocation of runway 10 center, land acquisition for the entire program, the relocation of the Union Pacific Rail Line to the west side of the airport, as well as the detention basin facilities and other enabling projects for our airfield. These projects represent 65% of all the airfield work needed for the entire program. Now, we had been consistent in stating our intentions to break ground immediately after receiving the record of decision. And on September 30th, we did just that. Now, we could not have asked for a more perfect day to hold a groundbreaking. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. In fact, the only thing seen overhead was the constant procession of departing aircraft from nearby runway 14 left, 32 right. A host of elected officials, business and local labor leaders, including many of you here today, rearranged your schedules on very short notice to attend this historic occasion. Following remarks by the mayor and others, we had put on our hard hats, grabbed our shovels, and watched as construction began on O'Hare's first new runway project since 1971. Now, for 3 wonderful hours, our construction equipment moved earth as part of the site preparation for runway 9 left. Unfortunately, construction was halted at 6 p.m. after the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals granted an emergency stay pending appeal of the FAA's record of decision. While we awaited the court's decision, we did not let grass grow under our feet for what turned out to be a 25-day stay. The OMP staff continued to work on the planning and designs of various North and South Airfield projects while also issuing new bid packages for future projects. As a result, when the stay was lifted on the afternoon of October 25th, we were able to direct our contractors to resume construction immediately. We intend to take full advantage of what remains of the 2005 construction season, and our contractors will remain in the field as long as weather conditions permit. This next slide shows the many North Airfield projects in Phase 1. Now, the North Airfield includes runway 9 left, 27 right, as I stated, is currently under construction. This runway is scheduled to open in 2008, and we've already moved 76,000 cubic yards of dirt for this project since we resumed construction on October 25th. Now, this runway is primarily a bad weather runway, arrival runway, addressing one of O'Hare's biggest causes of delay. The OMP has acquired all the land needed, you'll see shaded in this peach, for the construction of this new runway from Des Plaines in Chicago. There are still another 14.8 acres we must acquire from Elk Grove Village, which we will be proceeding to do in order to commission runway 9 left. In addition to runway 9 left, other North Airfield projects include the relocation of Mount Prospect Road and Guard Post 1, which is currently the main employee entrance to the airport, the relocation of Willow Higgins Creek, the control tower, as well as the relocation of a 90-inch water main that's currently sitting right under our runway to the north of it, which services drinking water to 7 communities west of the airport. The next slide shows the many South Airfield projects. As you may have heard, on November 16th, federal judge David Corr granted the motion to dismiss all claims against the city of Chicago, rejecting attempts by Elk Grove Village, Bensonville, and St. Johannes Cemetery to block land acquisition for this program. We are in the process of acquiring the properties we need in Bensonville. Thus far, we've acquired a total of 6 properties, and additional closings are being scheduled daily. Many of the South Airfield projects have surpassed the 60% design phase. Now, there are 2 primary runway projects in the South. The first is the extension of runway 10 left, which you'll see right here, which adds an additional 2,000 feet to our runway. This runway today is one of O'Hare's busiest runway, so it'll be a total of 13,000 feet when completed, and will be completed in 2007. The second runway project is runway 10 Center, 28 Center. Now, this runway, as you can see, is a little larger than the one above, will be Group 6 capable, meaning it will be able to handle that large aircraft you keep hearing about. And that will be commissioned in 2010. Now, along with those 2 runway projects, we have to relocate the Union Pacific Rail Line, which cuts through our airport, to the west side of the airport. We have to relocate 2 cargo facilities. They're currently under this runway, down south here. We have to construct a new detention basin here and here, which currently lies in this area, as well as another air traffic control tower, and as you can see, the many other projects that must happen in order for us to complete this runway, these runways. Now, you might ask, how are we going to accomplish this? Well, we have some of the best and the brightest program managers, construction managers, planners, and designers in the industry that are actually working on this program to take it from the planning to actual construction. And many of you are here today. So I thank you very much for all your hard work in making sure we deliver this program on budget and on schedule. We have our program management office, which is led by Dim Jim Aviation. They are essential to keeping a project of this magnitude on schedule and on budget. Our master civil engineering team, led by Bowman Barrett Associates, has done a fantastic job on all of the design of our program. We've also brought on board our construction management team, led by New York-based Parsons Brinkerhoff. They are coordinating construction activities in the field to ensure that safety comes first and that these projects remain on schedule. And Kiewit Western Company, a nationally recognized firm from Omaha, Nebraska, with a regional office in Elgin, has been awarded the first 2 construction contracts for Phase 1 work. The 2 projects are for site prep of that new north runway, 9 left, 27 right, that is currently underway, and the relocation of Mount Prospect Road and Guard Post 1. Now, at this point, I would like to introduce some of the extremely talented individuals who are working diligently to ensure that this program moves forward on schedule and on budget. When I call your name, would you please stand up? Michael Bolin, Jamie Reed, Roderick Drew, Ellen O'Connor, Steve Smith, Peter Florian, Ramon Ricondo, Ted Woosley, Larry Martin, Ray Gooding, Alan Dadian, and I know I'm missing many more of you who are here today, but I thank you. Tom Lyons, thank you all very, very much. In addition, we can't do this alone. We have to do this in coordination with the world's busiest airport, and that includes the Department of Aviation. With us today from the Department of Aviation, Pat Harney, First Deputy Commissioner, Jan Arnold, Kevin Flood, Rich Rodriguez, Aaron O'Donnell. Thank you all very much. I invite you, thank you very much, and they really are what keeps this program moving on time and on budget. We will continue our search for nationally recognized firms with recent relevant airport experience to work on this program. If you're interested in working on the program, I encourage you to visit www.o'hareModernization.org and view the information for the latest bid packages and to sign up for our web alert system. This will automatically notify you each and every time we post a new contract to our website and provide you with additional information of what's happening on the O'Hare Modernization Program. Now, under Mayor Daley's leadership, the City of Chicago has been a national leader in incorporating sustainable design concepts on city buildings and encouraging its use on new developments. The FAA has also recognized our commitment to environmentally friendly initiatives during O&P construction. We have created the Sustainable Design Manual, modeled after the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED rating systems, and it serves as a blueprint for evaluating and incorporating green principles into every project. Examples of environmental friendly initiatives include the use of ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel for on-road and off-road construction equipment, requiring particulate traps and oxidation catalysts for all but the newest equipment, achieving an 80% recycle rate with materials from building demolitions, and mandating that trucks conveying materials leave the site covered, and ordering contractors to submit a pre-construction plan to recycle oil and use environmental-friendly maintenance agents. We've recommended that the FAA build a green roof on the base building of their air traffic control tower, which would place O'Hare among the first airports in the country to incorporate a green roof on a portion of an FAA control tower facility. In addition, we are incorporating a green roof on our South Airfield lighting control vault and designing the canopy atop our relocated Guard Post 1 to accommodate a 6,400 square foot vegetated or green roof. And we're working to keep as much dirt on site as possible to reduce construction traffic on local roadways. In fact, we're elevating our runway ends in order to store dirt underneath them, once again reducing truck traffic on local roadways. Another and very important O&P initiative worth mentioning is our wetland mitigation program. We will be replacing 153 acres of low-quality, inaccessible wetlands on airport property with over 400 acres of higher-quality passive recreation space in neighboring communities. Now, this helps with stormwater management as well. And if many of you are familiar with the Des Plaines River watershed, it is notorious for flooding, so this will aid in that measure. By working closely with DuPage County, who are here with us today, Chairman Shellstrom and others, and other entities, the O&P will be able to provide more than $30 million to develop and maintain wetlands in communities throughout the region at no cost to the state or local taxpayer. Now, besides addressing congestion in the skies, the O&P will also create opportunities for new road and rail projects that encourage additional regional development, improve ground access, and relieve congestion on roads near the airport. The bipartisan cooperation between Mayor Daley, local, state, and federal leaders, including Speaker of the House, Speaker Hastert, to secure funding for regional road projects that complement the OMP was evident on August of 2005, when the federal transportation bill appropriated $140 million in planning and design for the Elgin-O'Hare Expressway. Now, many of you are familiar with that road. It goes neither to Elgin nor to O'Hare. So, as I stated before, for the first time in O'Hare's history, that Elgin-O'Hare can come right into our Western Terminal complex, and we utilized that when we were planning for our terminal. We've also protected for a 300-foot corridor on airport property. It's this blue line right here, which will allow the state to connect the Kennedy to the north to 294 to the south. Now, these plans have been on the state of Illinois' drawing board for decades. These projects would certainly complement the OMP. However, they are not part of the $6.6 billion program. In addition to the OMP, we're funding a portion of a land use study for DuPage County to examine how the area west of the airport can be better utilized once the OMP is implemented. The OMP will also create opportunities for the CTA to extend its blue line from the eastern terminal to the western terminal, and also allow Metra to put a terminal or station in our western terminal as well. Now, this would truly create a multimodal transportation hub with vehicle transportation, rail, and, of course, airports. So it will create a multimodal transportation hub on our west side of the airport. Now, Chicago, as all of you know, is a world-class city, and it deserves a world-class airport. The FAA estimates that demand for O'Hare will continue to grow, as evident by the record number of flights experienced at the airport last year. But this airport has reached critical capacity. At stake is our region's economy. The OMP will allow O'Hare to meet that growth efficiently. The O'Hare Modernization Program will substantially reduce delays and increase capacity at O'Hare. The OMP will create up to 195,000 new jobs for our region and add $18 billion to our region's economy annually. Most importantly, the OMP ensures that O'Hare remains the most important economic generator for our region and the state, at no cost to local or state taxpayers. Thanks to the hard work, dedication, and support for this program, the O'Hare Modernization Program has been approved, and construction is moving forward as we speak. A special thank you goes to the leadership of the Illinois congressional delegation, specifically Speaker Hastert, Senator Durbin, and Senator Obama. We must not forget the members of the Illinois General Assembly that passed the O'Hare Modernization Act, and Governor Rod Blagojevich, who signed it into law in August 2003. The members of the City Council for their support and continued commitment to this program. United and American Airlines, our legacy carriers, and the two largest tenants at O'Hare. They should be congratulated as well. Our airline partners signed on to fund this project 2 years before we received federal approval, demonstrating their commitment to maintain this region's role as the aviation crossroads of North America. Thank you. I would also like to thank the Federal Aviation Administration and the United States Department of Transportation for their professionalism and integrity throughout the review process. Our heartfelt thanks to Transportation Secretary Norm Mineta, FAA Administrator Marion Blakey, FAA Deputy Airports Administrator Woody Woodard, and the regional office staff, including Barry Cooper, Jerry Alice, and Phil Smithmeyer, just to name a few. There were many, many more. Most of all, I would like to recognize the foresight, vision, and leadership of our mayor, Mayor Daley. Transportation has been the backbone of Chicago's economy ever since its inception. First it was water, then railroads, then highways, and now aviation. As transportation needs change, Chicago has always met the challenge by upgrading its infrastructure, and we're doing so again by implementing the O'Hare Modernization Program. At the groundbreaking ceremony on September 30th, Mayor Daley stated, "This is a great day for Chicago, our region, and our state. Today, we are securing our economic future for generations to come. Years from now, we'll remember this day as the day we took a historic step forward on behalf of all the people we serve." I echo his comments and congratulate Mayor Daley for his continued leadership. When FAA Administrator Marion Blakey announced the release of the Record of Decision, she stated, "O'Hare was cleared for takeoff to a future with greater safety and capacity. Modernizing O'Hare is not only essential for the Chicagoland area, but also for the efficiency of our national aviation system." September 30th, 2005 marked the end of the FAA's thorough review process, and we are proud to have opened a new chapter in Chicago's history as a vital transportation hub for the entire nation. We should all be proud of the role we played in moving this project forward. However, Phase 1 is just beginning, and it's the beginning of the mayor's overall vision for a modernized O'Hare. We are committed to delivering Phase 1 on schedule and on budget, and we are equally committed to building the entire program. The sooner we complete construction, the sooner air passengers, the airlines, and our region will realize the tremendous benefits of a modernized O'Hare. The O'Hare Modernization Program will also allow future generations of Chicagoans to be able to boast of not only having the world's busiest airport, but also the world's best airport. That is why we need your continued support as we move this project forward. I thank you again for this opportunity to speak with you today and to update you on our future progress. And I look forward, if Jay invites me back, to come back and talk to you about what progress we've made. But again, your support, your continued support would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Rose will answer them. While you're there, I want you to know that I personally am in favor of as many green initiatives as I could think of.
I hear you. I'm hear you. Somebody's up front to take the collection. Is that it, Paul? Yeah.
No professors are involved. No questions at all? She answered all your questions? Very thorough. Who down over there? Yell very loudly and state your name.
John Macarelli. You mentioned planning to help congestion on the ground, and I was just wondering, for example, the connection of O'Hare to the 90 tollway. I was wondering where you are in that process.
Well, as I stated, that's not part of the O'Hare Modernization Program, but we're working with our sister agencies, the Illinois Department of Transportation, Tim Martin, as well as Jack Hartman from the Tollway to move that project forward. So we're working in collaboration with them.
Rosemarie, congratulations. Well done. You stunned this audience with your brilliance, your eloquence, and I think that Webb's page might have got them all basically what they came for. Well, a big round of applause for Rose.